Okay, welcome back to No Man's Sky, and we are taking a quick break from Ghosts in the Machine to expand our base. Like I said at the end of the previous video, you can just do the first few bits of this and move on, but I strongly recommend against that. You should really do this whole expanding the base and its little submissions now before you move on with the story. Particularly as it will unlock a whole bunch of stuff that will be very useful for the rest of the game. Okay, let's get on with it, shall we? So, for now, let's get rid of my maps for the time being because they keep bringing up rather annoying messages. Right, so we want to hire a base overseer. So we hire from space stations. So let's go outside. Getting our shit. Oh, let's, before I forget, let's rename this again. I totally forgot. Oh, we did. Wait a second. So it's probably because I've not re-interacted with the teleporter there that it's not updated the name of it, but it's fine, whatever. Oh yeah, the thing that I showed you with the whispering eggs at the abandoned building in the last one, well, these dead planets are absolutely filled with whispering eggs, so you can do the same thing here, except it's a much livelier battleground. Hydrogen is always useful. Analyze that crystal fragment, get a bit more dihydrogen. Go away, Sentinel. Okay. Lab support needs recharging a bit. It's at half time. Oh, I've got a life support gel. Hazmat gauntlets I just repaired allow us to pick from particular flora. Now I shouldn't actually have bought that because the missions we're about to do would have actually awarded that for free, but oh well, it didn't cost me a lot. Alright, let's move some of this into high capacity. It's taking up less slots then. Yeah, in the last video I kind of went a bit overboard with buying some stuff. I really need the defense chip. I don't really want that either. Right, okay. My refiner finished doing the runaway mold by the looks of it. Refuel it, and it's going to create a nanite cluster. So that's the end of our junk refining that we were doing. Okay. Right. So, where are we going? Space station. Potential overseer recruit. Oh, I could really do with making my ship a bit faster. I'll have a look, see if there's some upgrades while we're on the space station here. I think I've got an okay amount of nanites. Oh yeah, I've got loads of nanites. So I might as well buy myself some upgrades while I'm here. just check if there's any missions that I've not accepted from here yet. I think this is where I accepted the missions from, but let's have a look. No, it's not. Okay, so I'm going to add killing creatures. Definitely, that's easy enough. Those stack. Scan minerals, that stacks. Killing creatures, that stacks. I'm not going to do the collect chromatic metal because I don't want to waste my chromatic metal for some nanites. Same with the phosphorus. Alright, that's what I do. And then I'm going to make sure I'm back on the right mission. Now I could be talking to everyone on board here and learning more words. Personally at the moment I can't be bothered, but it is quite useful to do so. Let's have a look at this then. That's not too bad, but it's missing 2 slots, so I'm not particularly interested. Right, let's see if he's got any scanner upgrades that are decent, because that's a good way of making more money. Right, if you're going to buy upgrades, only ever go for the S class. Maybe at a stretch the A classes, but never bother with Bs or Cs, they're pointless. Right. Now I'm going to buy the Scatter Blaster because I am trying to get to the point where I can show you the really cool trick. I've not actually installed the Scatter Blaster yet, have I? Oh no, I'm being thick. It wasn't a Scatter Blaster that I wanted. Oh well. Let's sell it back to him. Alright, ship guy. Photon cannon, phase beam, and positron. That's annoying. So it was the Infinite upgrades that I wanted for my ship. Show you the trick where you can be shooting at the ground and collecting a bunch of resources. I'll upgrade my photon cannon, why not? So now, adjacency bonus there means that the 3, 3 and 8 won't just be 3, 3 and 8, it'll be a little bit better than that because this one's next to it. What did that need again? Sodium, no, rare metal element. I also need sodium diode. Yes, rare element and sodium diode. Let's see if this one might have it. No. Don't particularly remember if the one over here had it. Nope. Don't think the traders that land would have either of those things. Right, I've already filled up all my slots, so I don't need to worry about that. Right, exosuit. Let's see what this guy's got for me. Oh, lovely. Right, so we've got toxic protection. Boom. Remember that this one's a B class, so we could do with replacing that as soon as we can. Thermal, that's high temperature, so yeah, we're going to delete that. Move that one in its place. And we've got life support. I'm actually going to put that on. No. Yeah, I did. Cool. I don't have any exocraft yet, so there's no point in getting upgrades for it. Ah, this is what I was going to show you before. Oh no, more nanites, okay. Looking for nav data for them really, that then convert in the cartographer across the way there into some maps. Okay, back to business. We are looking for the Gek Overseer, so we're looking for one of the little Gek wandering around. Probably him. Them, I should say. There we go. So we're going to hire the construction overseer, and they're going to make their way to my base. This mission is going to involve a fair bit of back and forth to space stations. I could take the teleporter back down, but on this occasion I'm actually going to fly it. Is that it over there? I think that's our... I think our base is hidden behind that signal booster that I built. Oh, it's alright, they're not after me, they're just in the system. So I'm not having to do a great amount of inventory management because I expanded all my slots quite early on. You probably won't have done that. So remember that every time you go to a space station or the anomaly, there's that free slot to add for just a little bit of units. And we can also... Oh, looks like we've got one of the space encounter events. It's only a trader, but let's communicate with them. Right, not really got anything I'm interested in, to be honest. No, you can go away. There's lots of different space encounters. Some of them are just as simple as traders trying to trade with you, but there's also a lot of really interesting stuff which I'm not going to ruin the surprises for, but they all do something, by the way. There's one that nobody's figured out exactly what the numbers it gives you mean, but they do mean something. We just don't know what it is yet. But there's a lot of different encounters and they've all got a purpose. Different purposes. God, my character looks ridiculous. Like, put every single colour into this. Just going to go to my base computer archives for a second. I'm going to do that every time I come back to my base. Alright, because I might as well be getting some of my blueprints out of my base computer here. Alright, so you're only 6% of the way through it, so... Blueprints reassembled and prepared for download. A storage container, excellent. Why can't I move? Oh, because we're back on that. Right, so to begin with, these are going to be every 6 minutes or so. First it wants me to actually build what I just took from it, so let's build ourselves the first storage container. I was going to build it in the wall, but I forgot I'm not working with prefabs here, I'm working with wooden blocks. I'm going to go into the build camera to do this a little bit better. Okay, so now, once I've powered that, I can drop 20 different items into there, and if I build another one of this particular container, container 0, anywhere else, including on my freighter, which it's in a room form there, not a little box, it will access the same things. Okay, so what this big box here actually is a machine that accesses like a little other dimension where you're dropping all your stuff into. Okay, so your stuff isn't physically stored in there, it's stored in some other dimension, and this is allowing access to that dimension. So you can build as many of these things as you want on different planets, and they all access the same stock, the same inventory that you've put in there. Okay, archive archival, so I've got to wait an hour and a half before I can get the next blueprint from there. So we shall go back to our expanding the base. Okay, so it says return to the Overseer. The Overseer has already come to our station. Now if you build other versions of this station elsewhere, including on your freighter, then the Gek Overseer won't be there straight away, but if you interact with the little table, right, then they will appear at the table and disappear from whatever table they were at before. Okay, so if I want this Gek up on my freighter, I just build one of these tables and interact with the table. Geki here will transport to the freighter. But I haven't got a freighter yet anyway, so. You have so much to learn, so much to see, and this place will be our home amidst the infinite. Take this glass and let starlight flood into our jolly home. Okay, so I've learned the blueprint for glass. Everything pours through glass in the end, but there's time enough for that. There are other things we have to do. If you prepare chromatic metal, I will use it to calibrate a science terminal suitable for a Korvax entity. Korvax have suffered terribly at the hands of my people. Be kind to them, I beg of you. So, the Gek, once upon a time, enslaved the Korvax, which are those machine things that Nada is one of. It was a long, long time ago, and we're not going to ruin too much of the storyline of that for you just yet. The Overseer asks me to gather chromatic metal in preparation for the recruitment of a Korvax scientist. So again, I would be, if I hadn't already bought quite a bit of it, so I've got quite a bit of it in my inventory, then I would have had to have used my refiner to make it out of copper, which I would have had to have dug up. Right, let's have a look at my personal refiner. You might remember I put some stuff in there to... Right, so if I now transfer those nanite clusters to my exosuit, it doesn't put it in my exosuit as an item, it puts it straight up into my total up here. Okay. Right, I've got the chromatic metal. So I'm now going to build... Oh no, it's not going to let me yet. I'm going to talk to him first. Interesting. The Overseer speaks strangely, implying that we have performed this encounter before. I have no memory of such meetings. I ask who paid them for the service they are performing for me. They laugh and claim that my child did, many years from now. I do not know what they're talking about. The Overseer asks me for the chromatic metal. Perfect, friend, I knew you would succeed. Just what I need to finish the science terminal plans. Okay, so now I'm going to build the science terminal. Once he lets me out of his conversation. We have littered the universe in our greed, traveller. This planet is no exception. But there is much that can be done with litter. Make your way to an abandoned structure and harvest the data from the terminals. I shall use it to fashion up plans for a storage container, which I've already gotten from the terminal anyway, from the base computer. Randomly generated name is reflective for a Gek. They almost seem to regret the greed that characterizes their people. They wish to make something new from the remains of the old. Is this just greed in disguise, or something else? Whatever their motive, the Overseer claims that I will find data for a storage container blueprint in a nearby structure. You won't regret it, friend. I've marked you a site that seems to be ripe for exploration. Right, I'm going to build the science terminal first. Right, and obviously I don't have the Korvax scientist yet, so he's out in the galaxy map. Now, if we go back to expanding the base, alright, then it's asking us to go to the abandoned building that the Gek was on about. Somewhere else, yep, there is our science one. So you'll see that it's split up into different sections, okay? So we're going to be bouncing between the different sections. First, we're always going to prioritise the overseer first, and then the scientist. And we're going to prioritise them in the order that they are built. So, our Gek wants us to go to a particular place on that world by the looks of it. So we're going to go there. I cannot believe how quickly it got to 20 minutes on this video. Crikey. So that's a bounty, by the way, so I can go and destroy that particular pirate if I'm feeling brave. People seem to think that the units that it's offering there don't get awarded, but they do. It's just that it happens instantly, the second that you finish him off. So most people don't realise where most stuff that awards you units get lost. Of the timing of that one, I've not got anything left in my... Right. I'm just going to have to go to this planet here and escape them. Yeah, usually when you get awarded some units, it will gradually add them to your total, like you'll see it climbing. But for some reason, when you destroy a bounty, a pirate bounty, it just instantly adds it. It doesn't count up. So So it leads people to believe that they haven't been awarded it when they have. I don't know what's going on here. The speed keeps changing. Okay. So where am I actually trying to go? I've totally lost it. Over there. So I was on the right planet by the looks of it, yeah. So it's quite far away from where I needed to be. Anywhere handy to park, so I'm just going to have to park somewhere random. Some interesting noises. Okay, so it's another one of the abandoned buildings. Again, I don't want to pick a fight by shooting the whispering eggs. Raised my Gek standing there. Hydrogen jelly, but units. Some condensed carbon, why not? Okay, haunted terminal. Alright, remember we want to keep this stuff. Oh. User identified, terminal active, accessing schematics. The place the Overseer has led me to has long since fallen into disrepair. Its panels are buried beneath the same oily, pulsating fauna that I have seen before in long abandoned buildings. The air is fetid and damp. I power up the terminal with little hope of success, but to my surprise it buzzes noisily and springs to life. Let's analyse schematics. My overseer's intuition has served me well so far. I shall have to trust that these schematics contain the required data. Turn to the overseer. Now, before I return to the overseer, I'm going to go and collect, as I'm changing planet, I might as well see if I can find my Korvax scientist. No. No, I'm not going to be able to just yet, because we're not in a Korvax system, are we? So, right. If I look at the system that I'm in, is a GEC system, which is why I was able to find the GEC Overseer. But the scientist we're looking for is a Korvax, so I would need to go to a Korvax system. So we're just going to return to our GEC for now, until we're forced to do the Korvax scientist bit. You are back. I'm so glad, friend. I will extract the storage blueprint as soon as I have the data. It is good to see the Gex are invested in the success of our home. They are clearly happy to see me, energized for the task at hand. Here is your blueprint as promised, a trivial task. Their code was just sitting there to be manipulated. Okay, so I've actually received storage container 1. Oh, all of the rest of the storage containers. Cool. Now then. Do you think, friend, that we should put that science terminal to use? Fill our home with the clicks and lights of the Korvax? It would be so lovely. Our overseer feels the base would benefit from a Korvax scientist. They would like to see good use made of the blueprint they worked so hard on. Let's agree with that. I'm so glad we had this chat, friend. Okay, so we can now build the rest of the storage containers. Which are annoyingly not clicking together like they're meant to. Have I got some mod active or something? Oh, sure they'll do it that way, won't they? Ah, there we go. Now, these storage containers require a fairly large amount of electricity to power. However, we can use them from our inventory without actually powering them. So I don't want my gamma roots just yet, so I'm going to transfer them into my storage container. And let's say I want them back out. Just go over there. Alright, this stuff's already in my storage container. Okay. In fact, it seems I accidentally transferred the phosphorus and wiring loom there earlier. So, as we've got absolutely tons of room in our storage containers, anything that we think is just using up room at the moment, we know we're going to need those diodes later. Anything we think is just using up room at the moment, we're just going to transfer over to there. residual goop into our refiner. Oh, we need to power our refiner first. Oh no, we've already got that, that's why. Let's put the residual goop in, create some viscous fluid while we're messing around. Cargo, what cargo can we get rid of? That's more dihydrogen jellies than I need for now. I've got plenty of ion batteries. Loads of wiring looms. Right, I've got too much dihydrogen really. Got too many navigation data. Just get rid of that actually, I don't need it. Right, salvage data we're going to want loads of on us. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. Alright, so my items are now stored in these. They'll have all, I think there was less than 20 of them, so they'll all be in storage container 0 at the moment. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 different items. So yeah, they'll all be in storage container 0. And again, I did not have to power them. The only reason to power them is if you want to actually access them separately from the front, which does make it a little easier to take the stuff out. You don't have to go through absolutely loads of different items if you've got loads in them. And you can organise them quite nicely and rename the containers to whatever you want. So they are handy to wire up once you've got the power, but at the moment we're fueling everything with an absolutely terrible biofuel reactor. We have not yet bought the solar panels or electromagnetic generators, or the batteries even. So we don't want to mess around with power just yet. So we need to hire the scientist. Doesn't matter which one we're on, it's asking us to hire the scientist. So we're going to go find ourselves a Korvax scientist. Now we're not in a Korvax system at the moment, so we need to go into space. Into our galaxy map. Now sadly it's not giving us current mission as an option, so we are going to have to use our brains. That's a Korvax symbol right there, so we're going to go to that one. And we're just going to go straight to the space station. Now, this is where some people end up getting a little bit stuck. I mean, we'll find out in just a second, but I think what happens is people look around the space station and go, oh, they can't find the scientist, can't find the scientist. I think what happens is that either that one needs to be selected or that one. Alright, and I don't know which. I think if I select scientific research, it will probably be that one. I suppose we're about to find out. Of course, a lot of the time they're just not in a Korvax system, so it's not going to help them to find the Korvax. Okay, now the first place we're going to check is the back room, because that's quite often where they are. You're a Korvax, let's talk to you. Okay, you're just a random Korvax. You also are a Korvax, let's talk to you. Whatever. Okay. Let's try the expanding the base one. I'm starting to think maybe I've done something wrong. I see why people have issues with this particular part of the game. Alright, so I'm just going to try something. No, it won't let me reset that one. Let me reset that one. Where's staff from space stations? And I'm on the space station and I'm not finding the staff number. While I'm here, let's have a look at my upgrades. What upgrades can I get? Shield module. Yeah, why not get the underwater? It'll be a while before I go underwater all that much, but why not? Yeah, mining beam we definitely want to upgrade. Okay, well I am actually a little bit confused then. I all seem to miss. Oh, you're new. Oh, I found him, finally. Well, that was challenging. Alright, while we're here, let's see what missions we can pick up. But remember, every single time you come to a space station, add a bunch of these missions. Alright, because you will be completing them without even trying. And they all stack up together, so kill 5 sentinels. That'll happen eventually, and I'll have had also this kill 5 sentinels. So that doesn't mean I have to kill 10 different sentinels, it means I have to kill 5. Kill 13 creatures. I'm bound to kill plenty of creatures in my travels. 15 creatures there, so again I don't have to kill 15 creatures and 13 creatures, just 15 creatures. Okay, and the more of these that you're doing, the higher your ranking is getting with all the different guilds. So that's your Gek, your Korvax and your Vy'keen. Alright, so you'll notice there are 4 Korvax missions here because it's a Korvax system. But there's also the Trade Alliance, the Explorer Alliance and the Pirate Alliance, whatever they're called. Let's have a look. Merchants Guild, Mercenaries Guild and Explorers Guild. There you go. Okay, and it counts over here how many missions you've done for each, and it upgrades your standing based on that and a different thing for each of them. So the mercenaries also raise your standing for killing pirates and sentinels. The explorers also raise your standing for warping lots of times and for scanning rare creatures. And the merchants like you to earn a lot of money. You'll notice I've already earned a ridiculous amount of money. I cheated there because I didn't want to slow our videos down at all by not having the credits necessary to advance. And plants farmed. We'll start farming in a little while. Right, so let's head back down to our base now. Making sure that we are expanding the base done. So we're just going to teleport straight down to our base rather than warping all the way back, because that uses up hyperdrive fuel, our warp drive, so we don't want to do that. I don't know what's going on Facebook right now, but I can see I've got a ridiculous amount of notifications. I'm going to resist the urge until I have got this video to a point where I want it. Oh, hello. What's that all about? That was glitchy. Why are you giving me the blueprint for that? That's really weird. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Okay, well I have returned to my base, and you'll see that our research Korvax is there, and that it's moved me back off my mission again. Right, so return to the Overseer. Things are going well, friend, but it will not be long before violence follows us here. It is inevitable. If I had some microprocessors, I could steal a march on fate. Yes, I would design a weapons terminal suitable for a Vy'keen armourer. The Overseer asks me for microprocessors in order to design a weapons terminal. The scientist should be able to assist with this task. Now, for just a second, I'm going to decline, because most of you getting to this point will not have microprocessors in your inventory. I do believe I do, because I bought some, didn't I? Yeah, so I've got 6 of them. However, most of you will have to actually earn the blueprint for them now from our Korvax scientist, so let's talk to him. Honour to witness the monolith of the Traveller. Honour, but please, Korvax, contribute. Take these blueprints, lubricant and acid, liquids close to Korvax heart. Okay, so he's given us the blueprints for lubricant and acid. Traveller, harvest marrow bulb and Korvax will do more. We'll create plans for microprocessors that we need for the Overseer. And advanced refiners, rather than just the one we've got on our back and the little portable one. Korvax will also clean windows while you are gone. No, I haven't actually built any windows yet, but hey. The Korvax is desperate to please, showering me with praise and offers of assistance. They tell me travellers are to be honoured, raised above all others. What have I done to earn such esteem? The scientist requires marrow bulb and cobalt, materials found underground. They will use these substances to craft blueprints for microprocessors and advanced refiners. So I'm going to accept that. So, you'll notice that now our Ghosts in the Machine mission has advanced. So at this point, if you really feel like you are bored of the base building missions, you can advance the story. Okay? That's why I'm going to bring the video to a close here, but I will reiterate one more time. I strongly recommend against advancing the story until you have done the rest of the expanding the base missions, which will involve the Overseer's stuff on this one, the Scientist stuff on this one, the Viking Warrior will be added in a minute, and then the Farmer, and then the Exocraft guy. Okay? Doing these will give you a lot more to work with for the rest of the game, so I strongly recommend that you continue these missions until they are done. If you absolutely must, do a little bit of it and then come back to it. Alright? But do not plough ahead with the main story missions without doing a whole bunch of this first, because it will make it so much more difficult for you, and you'll be limiting yourself about how the different ways that you can do the rest of the game. Because Exocraft in particular, and some farming as well, right, will help you dramatically with the rest of these missions. Okay, otherwise you'll be wandering around on foot with absolutely no way of getting anywhere fast. Right, we don't want that. We want our Exocraft. Okay, so try to do the base building missions before moving on. Alright, so this has been quite a long video, so I'm going to bring it to a close, and the next video we will do the rest of the base building missions. Have a lovely day.